Big shout out in this video goes to Love Minis.
Oh no.
Mind the gap.
So welcome to issue 6, and I can promise you a fantastic issue. This is actually the highest issue score that we've ever given, other than issue 1, which obviously issue 1s are always good. I don't really like to discuss the scores at the beginning because obviously it gives away the build, but I can tell you that this issue scored 98%. Now the reason it didn't score 100% was we had a problem with one of the instructions. The order that it tells you to do something, it actually tells you to put something together, and then the very next stage, sorry, not the very next stage, but a later stage within the magazine, you have to remove it all again in order to get on with the next part of the build. And we thought that was a little bit short-sighted. Maybe we were being harsh with the scoring, but it will become clear as we describe the build. But we didn't see the point in doing stage 1 before we did stage 4. Maybe they should have moved stage 1 to stage 4, and then that would have made more sense. So we're having a little look through the magazine. We did enjoy this magazine. We always enjoy the magazines, to be honest with you. And there we have a very nice reference shot of R2-D2, which I wondered if that might be relevant for one of DeAgostini's other builds. I think it's DeAgostini that does build the R2-D2. But obviously if you're doing that particular build, you will get your relevant magazines for that one. So we have a long part list, and the part list is the upper rear cockpit instrument panel. Then we have a right and a left lower rear cockpit instrument panel. We have the right instrument display and the left instrument display, and we have the control levers. There's 4 of those on a sprue. We have the cockpit link ring and the cockpit upper shell and the cockpit lower shell, and then we have some lounge seating support, and then 11 pieces on a sprue. We have the hull plant on details. Again, we thought this was a fantastic, really well packaged magazine. Like I said in the last part, if the publishers don't care about the magazine, then really why should we? And the way that these are packaged and put together, it makes me want to give this extra care, because it's been carefully packaged for us to try and reach us in very good condition. Remember that I'm receiving this in pack form, so I receive 4 issues a month. So it's difficult to confuse these, because you can see there that it clearly states issue 6. So I know all the parts for that issue are contained within one piece of packaging. So let's carry on checking the parts, and then I will see you at the next stage, which is assembling the cockpit shell. Okay, so I'm going to do the assembling the cockpit shell first, and that's because that's the order that the magazine has done it in. If you wish to do this last, I personally believe that makes a lot of sense, because we will actually be unassembling this part later on in the magazine. This is why we've only rated it a 9 for the instructions. But like I say, we'll do it in the order that the magazine asks us. So what we need to do is take the upper and the lower halves of the cockpit shell, and we need to fit them using the 4 locating lugs. Now I do try to explain where the lugs are, where there's like little rails along the edges, so that you can't get it in wrong. But just spend a little bit of time and just check and just make sure it goes on properly. Okay, so holding those together, you now need to get the cockpit link ring. Now this is a very tight fit, and in addition there are locating lugs, so you can only put this on one way. Although it seems a perfect circle and you wouldn't think it would matter, there are actually locating little lugs. So have a look at the pictures in the magazine. Look for any detail on the locating ring, the locating ring. Sorry, I keep calling it a locating ring. It's a link ring. Sorry. So make sure you get it the right way round. Get the lugs into the right position, and then carefully place that on. It will be very, very stiff. Okay, little fun fact for you, and if you didn't know this before, you will look at this and go, oh yeah, the Millennium Falcon cockpit was actually modelled on the B-29 Super Fortress cockpit. The B-29 being the aircraft that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. If you didn't know this already, it's probably now become obvious once I've told you. Obviously if you already knew that, you'll be like, oh, I already knew that. But yeah, I thought that was a fun fact that I discovered there. Okay, so the next stage is they're preparing the instrument panels. Now I apologise in advance. I feel that I'm going to find this quite difficult to explain, but I will do my best. What you have is you have 3 pieces, you have like a rib and then you have 2 smaller pieces, and these are all going to go together to form a big circle, and on these 3 pieces you need to stick on 2 stickers. Now, first thing I did was I lined the stickers on the ground. Sorry, I apologise. And what I've actually done is I have a piece here, the whole plant on details. There's 11 of them on a sprue. They will not be required this issue. So as you can see, I've done what I believe is a sensible thing, and I've just written the issue number on them. They came with issue 6, so a nice big number 6, and I popped those in the box. Haven't even opened them. No point, not going to need them, so let's keep them in the package and help to protect them. So back to the instrument panel. Now at the moment I'm thinking what to do with them, but what I actually decide to do, after I've lined up the stickers, use as many points of reference as you can. On the left hand side I used, on both of them there's a white line, and on one of them to the right of that white line there's a yellow square, and then on the left hand side there's 2 smaller yellow squares, but around the big yellow square there's like lots of red squares. Find your own point of reference obviously. On the left hand sticker I identified a purple square, and they were the points of reference that I used. Now what I decided to do, this worked for me. At the time it was a gamble, but it paid off. I actually stuck the sticker to the smaller part of the rib, and then I kind of held that sticker back, bent it round a bit, not enough to bend it, but just to bend, not enough to fold it, but just enough to fold it back and hold the rib together, then place the sticker on. And then I got the second one and I test fitted it just to make sure there was enough space, and actually it worked. Now normally at this stage I would speed up what I've done. I'm going to keep it running at normal speed and I'm not going to speak, so you can just see what I've done. So lots of test fitting, and then eventually we went for it, because these stickers, I believe they're made by 3M. Now 3M is a company that does adhesives and stickers. I found that they seem to do the strongest stickers in the world known to man, and I find that once you've stuck a sticker on that's made by 3M, it's pretty much near impossible to remove it and reuse it. So watch carefully guys as I try and put the stickers on. Okay, so there you go. Now we've tried to put the stickers on so that if there is a gap, it will be low down. We figure that part's going to be harder to spot. As it happened, these stickers went on absolutely perfect. So we were really happy. So once we've done this, the next stage is to attach the control levers. Now the control levers, it says nothing about gluing them in, and obviously what we need to do is cut off 4 small parts. So we decided to skip this stage until we knew that we would be gluing them in. Now I do have a confession. I have actually looked forward, looked towards issue 8, issue 7 and 8, and I can actually see that we will be gluing them in soon. So that really did influence my decision to leave this part. I cannot see the point in having 4 small tiny parts floating around. So we just decided I'm going to leave them. We'll do them in a future issue. So that leaves us with the cockpit assembly, and now hopefully you would be able to share my view on why I felt that assembling the cockpit shell was pretty useless right at the beginning. So there you see, I'm just labelling the parts nice and clearly. That's going in the box. So having assembled the cockpit assembly, we have to take the cockpit assembly apart. We then have to take the cockpit and place that into the passage tube, as we did earlier on, and then we need to pop in the instrument panel that we've just done in the previous stage, and then we put the cockpit assembly back together again. Now we will be taking the cockpit assembly apart again. It doesn't have to be done that way, but when we do some more work on the cockpit, that will make our jobs a lot easier. So that's it, guys. Once we've done that, that's the magazine complete. Do you think I was being harsh to knock the parts score down a notch to 9 based on the order that they ask us to do it in? Do you think I was fair to be quite harsh? Tell me your thoughts, and then I will just, as I say, while you're thinking of that, I will get on with the cockpit assembly. Okay, I did forget to mention there is one other part that we haven't dealt with yet, and that's the lounge seating support. And we won't actually be doing anything with this part, so we'll pop that safely in our box, and then we'll use that when it's time when the time comes. Okay, so I've pretty much gone through all of the scores. This magazine scores 98%. It feels like a 10 out of 10 magazine. There was an over 30-minute build time. Again, this may have been slowed down because I'm doing it live on Twitch on the second Friday of the month. So, you know, perhaps you can do it a little bit quicker. There were more than 10 parts, and there were no problems with any of the parts. The only area that we knocked down on was the instructions. We felt that they could have ordered them a little bit better. It wasn't actually a problem with the issues, it was just that it seemed badly planned. So this is a 98% score, which at this particular time is the best issue that they've had out of 6 issues. So what I'll do is I'll have a little look at issue 7, and I'm actually really excited here. Now, it promises us a main hold floor and passenger seating parts. Now, the reason that I am quite excited, I have 2 main hobbies. My first one, in no particular order, I love to build these part works. Because of the surprise, you don't know what you get in the next issue, but you do know what you get in the final build. The second hobby that I have is painting miniatures, fantasy figures, aircraft, ships, basically anything, turning boring, dull plastic into something with life and character. Now, looking at these parts, looking at the passenger seating parts, it looks like we're getting something that I can build and possibly paint. So it actually combines my 2 hobbies. So I don't know about you, but I am really excited. So have a lovely week, guys, and I will see you in the next episode.
So Love Minis writes, with them adding the metal frame does point to how massive in size this model will be. Yeah, it is going to be incredible, and there's little bits of frame being added every week. So it's a fair build, lots to do, and like you say, it's going to be massive. Okay guys, so that's it for this week, and I hope to see you all next week. Take care, bye bye.